Welcome to the Georgia-Florida Baseball Show, brought to you by Georgia Showcase Baseball and its owner, Coach Ben House. Ben, how we doing?
Doing good, KP. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. We are in full beast mode because I have with me today Beastmode Baseball's owners and co-founders Jamal Ritchie and DJ Milner. How we doing, guys?
Hey, doing well.
All right. Today we're going to get with DJ. You good?
Yes, sir.
Forgive DJ, guys. He's been busy. He's had a busy day. He'll be all right, though. All right. Today we're going to discuss why Jamal and DJ felt the need for what is now the largest minority-owned travel baseball organization in the States, how they keep these numbers above 225 and most likely up to 250 in the spring. They're going to be bringing in basketball. They have basketball already, going to be bringing in flag football soon, and how working together with other baseball organizations on the south side of Atlanta, much like Ben's, Georgia Showcase Baseball, helps to even the playing field and make South Atlanta a viable option for youth in the area to play baseball in. And we're going to do all that after this. Welcome back. First, if you're watching this, like and subscribe to the Georgia Showcase Baseball YouTube channel, which is where you're watching this, and also like this particular show. Thank you to our sponsors, the Dixon Firm and Arden's Garden. The Dixon Firm, when a cheap lawyer won't do, the Dixon Firm and Arden's Garden, Atlanta's home for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods. Thank you for sponsoring us. Guys, Jamal, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to doing Beast Mode Baseball with one Coach DJ.
Hey, man. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having us. Thanks, Ben, for inviting us on the show. Real simple, man. Grew up playing baseball from the southeast side of Atlanta, played out of Gresham, played out of Glenwood Hills, hotbed for baseball back in the 90s. Came up under my uncle, who was a coach. When I had kids, it was time to coach. I felt, felt it was my obligation to give back. So started coaching and, had some really good teams and played some tough competition, played some of Ben's team, played DJ's teams. And, at some point, teams kind of fell apart and decided, we could either be part of the problem or part of the solution. So kind of decided to go out, venture on my own, ran into DJ. Like I said, we competed with each other or against each other for years and came together at one place. That wasn't the ideal place, so we decided to go out and do it together. So, and 5 years later, here's where we are.
Yeah, here's where we are. Huge, too. DJ, a little bit about your background. And you had told me previously that your background kind of motivated you to become influential in other people's lives. You want to dive into that a little bit?
Yes, sir. Like Jamal said, thanks for having us on. But me coming through, I was, pretty standout player. I didn't start playing until I was 10. But coming through, just not having the leadership and or guidance to know how to do it the right way and continue to work and outwork everybody, not just the guys that's in your neighborhood, but having to outwork the guys in the entire state and then the entire United States and not understanding that, right? So like I had a uncle that kind of brought me in and they for lack of a better word, they kept me busy, right? So for me, it was trying to demonstrate that same behavior for the kids that we bring through the organization, right? So like that's kind of what, obviously an uncle taking care of you and keep you in sports is not the same thing as having a father there, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis. All right, so we try here at Beast Mode to, bring in that family atmosphere and on top of just being coaches, like we spoke about earlier, we want to bring the life part of it to us, right? And be mentors, be leaders, and continue to, develop guys through baseball, basketball, and give them opportunities to do different things to keep them busy, but also, make sure that we're teaching them life lessons as well. All right. So like that was, that's something that just a lot of our kids don't typically get. Our genre, from our background, we everybody doesn't have that, right? So to have that coach or set of coaches or leadership or an organization that you can come to and call your own and know that there's an open door policy at all times, right? That's what we try to create, right?
Right, right. And that open door policy, that family atmosphere lends itself to keeping people staying and working together year after year after year, right? Now, Ben, how did these guys come on your radar?
Well, I initially met Jamal through Gresham Park, and also he played a stint with me with his older son. I think they were maybe 10 or 11 years old at the time. He came through the program, and when he was here, he would ask a lot of questions. A lot of important questions, to where you would always think, okay, he's searching. He's searching for something, to where he's wanting to venture out on his own to kind of do some things on his own, and those questions led to where he is now,
Right.
with Beastmode and the things that they're doing now with the program over at Beastmode, and also with DJ. When DJ first came here with his team in our facility, the same things. He was asking questions about how the program was ran and how things were done. So and I can see everything that he's doing. Those two, what they're doing with Beast Mode, how those questions that they were asking then, what they're doing now with the program, and my hats are off to them for what they're doing, and I salute them, because the it was paid. It was paid for them to do this, and a lot of other Southside teams that are trying to do the same things, trying to bring young men into their programs and organizations to actually help mentor them and actually help them to be better baseball players and also better kids.
Right. Right. Now, Beast Mode is an acronym. Is that correct?
That's correct. It stands for Building Exceptional Athletic Scholars Through Motivation, Opportunity, Discipline, and Exposure.
Right. Right. Now, what is the More Than a Game initiative? That falls in line with the acronym, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it definitely falls in line with the acronym. That's our moniker. More Than a Game is basically using the game of baseball as a conduit to make these kids better citizens in life. Not everyone's going to make the major league. What we do, hope and pray, is that everyone goes to college. But through the More Than a Game series, we're a three-pronged organization: sports, academics, and community service. So we've done such things as Hosea Feed the Hungry a couple of years ago. We fed over 100 families. We've cleaned graveyard sites. We've also done toy drive, partnered with the East Point Fire Department, done things of that nature. So what we want to do is not just teach the kids sports, but teach them to be better citizens. So through the More Than a Game project or initiative, we bring in different people from the communities, be it professional baseball players, ex-professional baseball players, Major League Scouts. We brought in Rashad Ritchie, who's a motivational speaker, people in different realms to show them that, if you don't make it in the sport of baseball, there's a lot that you can do around this game. So we just give them the whole gauntlet just to make sure our goal here is just to build the child, right? So build these children in the better men so that they're serving their communities, and maybe they'll follow in our footsteps and do, stand on our shoulders and do some bigger things. So that's the hopes with the More Than a Game.
But Jamal, not only you're helping build young men, but young women as well in the program.
That's right. That's right. Certainly. Have softball, and we still have a couple of girls that are playing. So yeah, I mean, we just try to get back to the community, man, and make it better than it was when we came here.
That's great. Hey, DJ, you had told me that you said every kid that comes into the program, you have a 3-year plan for them. Is that, you want to expand on that?
Okay, so I think kind of what we were alluding to is, if you got a guy that's 16 years old or 17 years old, he's stuck in his ways, right? So just like we talked about earlier, like a grown man, he's stuck in his ways. So like for us, what we try to do is get the kids at the youngest age possible, right? 6 and 7, maybe they don't really know if I'm going to play baseball or basketball or cut flips all day or be an actor or YouTuber or whatever. But by the time they get 8, 9 years old and it becomes baseball, like we put a strong focus, even before then, but we put a strong focus on developing and turning guys into like really good baseball players, right? Because at that point you've kind of decided that you want to be great. So at 9 years old, we go into more of the development piece. All right. And I tell everybody at 9, I don't care what you are. All I need you to do is be committed. All right. If you're committed, by 12 years old, you'll be a ball player, right? You know what I'm saying? You'll have all the tools that you need based on the guys that we're going to put around you, right? So like what we do is bring our 15, 16, 17-year-old coaches back down, you know what I'm saying, including myself, Jamal, they come down. And these are also the same coaches that are coaching your 9-year-old kid, right? And then the same coaches that's going to be coaching them in high school, because we feed into about 6 different high schools that we actually have coaches at those schools, right? Between the south side and the east side of Atlanta. We got about six schools. We either have head coaches for the softball or baseball and or assistant coaches at those schools. And we send guys, directly to those schools, but we feed them through our program, and then they end up going into those schools. So the 3-year program that I talk about is just, you give me 3 years of commitment, and I'll turn this guy into a really good player, right? So I don't care if he's at 9, he'll be a guy. You know what I'm saying? By the time he's 12, right? And then by the time he's 15, he'll be starting on his JV or varsity team, and well on the way to be a college player.
Right.
Hey, DJ, can you expand on that commitment piece?
The commitment piece?
Yeah. As far as the training, and what does it take to be that guy?
Man, so first of all, it's getting the basic fundamentals first, right? Because it's just doing the same. Baseball is just doing the same motions over and over again and perfecting it, all right? You know what I'm saying? So if I've got the basic fundamentals and I can work this glove or I can swing this bat, you know what I'm saying, 9 out of 10 times great, it might lead to a 400 or 500 batting average, right? But it's not something that's just going to happen one day, right? It's going to take, multiple days a week, even if it's 30 to 45 minutes a day. We got to be working on something to improve us, right? Whether it's, swinging the bat, whether it's throwing, whether it's long tosses, we got to be working on something. And, so that's the first part of the commitment piece. But then, a bigger piece of it being, we speak to this, is the parental commitment, right? Because we can't do anything without the parents, you know what I'm saying? So like, I spoke earlier about bringing in great parents, right? Because the parents are the ones that got to get this 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 12-year-old there. We can't do that, right? They got to get them there, all right? But, it's somebody in the Dominican Republic, as we all know, that's working 12 to 15 hours a day while we at school, right? So like, how do you keep up with that? You know what I'm saying? And then the next part is, you might have the physical, but if we don't have the mental, what are we going to be, all right? What are we going to be? 90% mental? All right, so like that's the other part, and where we lose a lot of guys. You got 1% of guys that are really great. The other, everybody else, they got to use more of this, right? So that's the commitment piece for me.
Right, and the other thing, the neat thing is though, your philosophies in this aspect of it help these kids grow together, and talk about the importance of these guys growing together as a unit and kind of learning to commit to each other and then grow and learn inside of a team atmosphere.
I mean, honestly, that piece is guys just loving each other, right? And it starts with the parents, and like we talked about earlier, the open door policy that we have with the parents. I spend no less than 10, 12 hours a week. And I know Jamal probably close to it, talking to parents, right? About things that may have nothing to do with baseball. It might be the type of bat that the kid needs, or what they're doing in school, or what could they be doing, or what showcase they could be doing, or, what type of class. I sat there and listened to Jamal talk to somebody about what magnet program to send their kid to, for a long time. And enjoy those conversations, right? Because all we're doing is giving young people and parents knowledge that they would otherwise not have. And everybody's not going to give you that knowledge, right? And that's what we try to do to set ourselves apart, right? Is that we want to be touchable, all right? We want to build that family commitment, you know what I'm saying? And I know Ben spoke to it on the first podcast, and I watched it. We lose those kids to East Cobb's and 643s and Canes national organizations, all right? So what we try to do differently is build that personal connection with each individual. Now we run into a situation where these guys don't want to leave the organization. Right? I literally have, like I told you, a parent called me like my kid. I told my kid he was going somewhere else and he literally cried. Right, and I get that story numerous times, and pretty much every guy that leaves, they end up coming back, or they never get that same level of this individual really loves me. You know what I'm saying? Because in most other organizations, you know what I'm saying, you become a number, right? You're just a number. You're just a guy on the team, right? What we try to do is like really commit to these guys here and show, you know what I'm saying, show the utmost love for each and every one. So I don't want to talk too much. I know I get it going. I get it going. You know what I'm saying? So but
no, you're great.
Jamal
You're great.
may want to kind of chime in on that as well.
Jamal, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, he pretty much said it all, but I think what we do a lot, we throw cookouts. We do a lot together. A lot of these guys have played together since they were 3, 4, 5 years old. We also do basketball together. So these are the guys that they attend birthday parties together. They do everything together. So it's organic. Another thing we do, a lot of our teams, we talked about more than the game. We'll have Zoom call sessions every Monday after a tournament. And the Zoom session will go like this. The first part of it is the good, the bad, the ugly from the game. What did we learn? But then the second part is we'll play a motivational video, and then we'll open up the floor to the kids and let them talk. We let them talk. We let them build. Then it becomes cool. This is my thing. It becomes cool to be smart. It becomes cool to be outspoken. So now these kids, it becomes cool to govern one another, right? So we take our hands off of it. Now they govern the dugout. It's not cool to come in the dugout with your shirt untucked. It's not cool to come to practice with no hat. We don't have to do that, because these guys are willing, and then they're brothers, right? And they'll tell you they're brothers. Every week they go into war with their brother. They look to their left, they look to their right. These are the guys, these are family. This is who we spend the bulk of our time with. So I think it's just naturally organic, and it's come together in a space through this white ball, man. And so that's what drives us is family.
Okay, on the flip side of that though, Ben, real quick, they told me that you help them address when kids do want to go. And your philosophy is if they want to go, you can't stop them.
No, you can't stop a kid from leaving. You can't stop a parent from taking their kid to another program. With my program is, when a kid does leave, I always tell coaches, don't take it personal. To go out and when one leaves, 2 or 3 more are going to come. So those 2 or 3 more that's coming, service those kids. Give those kids everything that you gave to that kid that left. And always wish that kid well. When that kid leaves, wish him well. And when you see him, give him a hug. Because you can't take this game right here personal, man, because parents are gonna leave for different reasons. Those reasons you may not know. They may tell you one thing, it may be something else. But you can't take it personal because it's gonna drive you crazy. And then also it's gonna hinder the program. If you do, dwell on a kid leaving. Only thing you can do is wish him well and hope, because this game is such a revolving door. People leave for different reasons, and some come back, some don't. But if they don't come back, so what? It's okay. When you do see that kid, give them a hug, say hello to the parent, whatever it is, and just let it be. So it's a game, man. At the end of the day, it's a game. And that's why I try to explain to my coaches and trainers.
Your overall philosophy.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Just to add on to that, Ben, it's every time somebody walks out of the door, it's just an opportunity for somebody else. And that's what I teach my kids, right? We work on every single position. and we train these guys up. Like right now, unfortunately, now I probably shouldn't be saying this because he ain't even said it, but like Jamal's son is injured right now. You know, he got injured last night, right? But you know, he's one of the better players on our team, right? And we got to bring another guy in that's going to be able to play that position. What if we didn't have another guy that can play shortstop or second base? All right, we oh man, God, we season about to start. But you know, in actuality, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now this is just somebody else's opportunity to step up. And that's what we work on. That's what we kind of push guys to, like, everybody be great and create that competitive, those competitive practices, friendly competitive nature in these kids and between these kids. All right. So that when they get their opportunity, all right, they go out and they make the best of it. It's not something that's new to me. Right. So like just kind of adding on what you said, man.
Right. Well, that's another aspect of baseball, right? You want to have the highest batting average on your team. You do. You want to be the guy that makes the plays. You want to be the pitcher that gets the big wins. You want to be the guy that gets brought in the last inning. But that being said, none of that matters as everybody else on the team isn't all that good. So you also want there to be competition between you and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And that's any workplace you go into, right? There's always some form of a whole. There's a boss somewhere going, in order for us to get to our goal, everybody has to be good. But in order for you to be promoted, you got to be better. And you have to work inside every job you're going to get. You're going to be working inside of something, but also trying to achieve for yourself on the way. And baseball can teach you that if you give it the chance.
Absolutely.
Again, only strong as your weakest link.
That's right. You're only strong as your weakest link. And I was told, once you become the best player on your team, it's probably time to move on.
Yeah. And that's another thing, man. When parents, you know, decided, and sometimes parents they leave too soon without getting that development piece. You know, without being developed, they leave too soon, and then when they get to where they're you know they're wanting to go, their next stop is, damn, I'm not ready for this.
You know, become a number.
You just like you said, you're just another number. You know,
right?
So,
right,
yes.
and there's merit in growing together. You know, once you've established these are my guys, right? There's merit in growing together, and when you start being able to root for that guy that's your friend and invest in a guy that emotionally that's your friend, that carries on, and that's another thing that you can take with you because you're not always going to work with friends. It's nice if you can, but if you can establish friendly in a workplace, it's helpful.
And you know what I call that? The Duke mindset versus the Kentucky mindset, right? So Duke gonna be a guy over 4 years, right? And by the third or fourth year, we still in the Final Four every year, all right? In Kentucky, I want one and done, the best guy available. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do nothing with them. I'm gonna bring the best in, and we, but they both still get to the final place together, right? Unfortunately, where we are, we're not going to attract, you know, a guy from New York and a guy from Cali that throws 95. We got to develop them in-house, right? So we got to take more of the Duke approach, right? And get these guys through, you know what I'm saying, 3-4 year process to get to the same, you know what I'm saying, and find ways around it, be really innovative and finding ways around it to make these guys want to stick around, bro. Like so.
Cool. But see, Kevin, let me talk a little bit about that. Until we decide on the South Side, until we come together as a group, until we get our own academy, our own fields, it's going to continue to be a revolving door. Until we get our own, everybody can come in with their ideas and put everything in one house. It's going to continue to be like that on the South Side. Right. So that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on everybody coming together, being one, and joining forces with each other and putting all our ideas together, getting some fields, getting an academy together, getting an indoor facility where we can all be one and put our ideas together. Until then, it's going to always be a continuous, it's going to continue to be the way it is now.
Welcome back. Thank you again to our sponsors, the Dixon Firm. When a cheap lawyer won't do, the Dixon Firm. Arden's Garden, Atlanta's home for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods, along with Showcase Apparel, which is associated with one Georgia Showcase Baseball and Coach Ben House. Now, Jamal, you were going to jump on what Ben was saying about coming together. You want to do that now?
Yeah. Now, I mean, first I wanted to say it's kind of hard to be the first to do anything, right? So what we're doing here, we're just a product of our community, what came before us. So the one thing I did want to do is shout out to Ben and Showcase. You know, he was one that showed us this is how it can be done. All these guys over at Gresham Park, you got Boo Mitchell, you got Ricky Dawson, those guys doing great things. You got Eddie Phelps over at GBSA. All great things, and doing all great things. We've had the luxury to study these guys and what they've been able to do, and try to improve on it, right? So at the end of the day, it's more than one way to get to where we're getting, but we're all trying to get to the same place. I spoke with Ben earlier about I've sent several kids over to Ben at Showcase. If they're not here, why not send them to those guys? Eddie Phelps, we had a conversation the other day. If I've got a guy that's an elite athlete that's not here at 15, 16 years old, I'm going to send them to Eddie. As a matter of fact, as far as community building, we had Eddie Phelps' son on the call, on the 1 hour Zoom call, Trey Phelps, just a couple of weeks ago. So gotta build as a community. It's tough to do things by yourself, you know. So I just want to kind of say so much talent on this South Side, but guys that are willing to take a step back, check their ego at the door, and get some of these kids into school, find out the best way to do that. And that's what we're about over here at Beast Mode. So like I said, thanks, Ben, for paving the way for us, along with all these others. Craig Powell, another guy over at Cochran that's doing great things that we partner with. So we're here.
Yeah, Craig will be on the show. Craig will be on the show soon.
Okay.
Good. Now, a part of what you're saying too is what you do may not fit a different, like you have different groups on the South Side and all over Atlanta doing this. The place that fits your kid could be different from the place that fits another person's kid. And the way you guys do things is a part of your personalities. You know, and everybody needs to find where they fit in at, which is part of what Ben was talking about when he was saying, you can't make a kid stay here. Let them find where they need to be because everybody's past different and all that. And Ben, you said something the other night that impacted me a little bit in that whether they leave or not, you still have put an imprint on that kid's life.
Absolutely. And you have kids, we've had kids in the program that has left and gone on to do great things. You know, college, going to play college baseball, professional baseball. Even though they didn't finish through the program, they were here. So we did make an impact in those kids' lives. And they still remember Showcase Baseball, where this is their home. So where they go, college, professional, whatever it is, Showcase is still home. They can come back here and hit. They can come back here and train. They can come back here and do things that you can't do in other programs. You know, Showcase is always home to kids that have been here, that have made. We have handprints up on the wall that kids that started this program, and they're still, everybody that comes through these doors are welcome here.
Right. Your program is a part of your personality. The way you grew up made you decide I need to be able to help young men, young women, because as you said the other day, idle hands, right? You don't want that. If kids gets bored, they get in trouble. And how do we create that? And then Ben was piggybacking and saying, you know, everybody's got to find their own way. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, one thing that we preach about that, right, is that you got to do what's best for your kid, right? Do what's best for each individual. And that's something I say all the time and something that Jamal says all the time. You got to do what's best for your kid, right? So it's everybody can, everybody has their own way of doing everything, right? But You know what I'm saying? You got to do what's best for your kids. So we definitely don't, you know what I'm saying, speak against that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that now certain people do. There are those, let's say, organizations that, put a lot of pressure on certain kids to stick around, right? That's just tough, right? Like Ben said the other day, right? This kid was with me. It's very seldom you're gonna have a team like myself where I'm with these guys from 9 up to 15, 16, 17 years old. Ben had a situation like that. I think Eddie had a situation like that. Those are few. That's tough to do that. You know what I'm saying? To keep, the majority of these guys together for X amount of years. The tribe have a situation right now like that where they're 16, 17 years old, and all of those guys are studs, right? So it's tough. It's tough to, to come into a situation like that. So the thing is, like Ben was saying earlier, right? If we're working together and it's like, okay, this is not a perfect fit for me, you know what I'm saying? We got to be confident enough in ourselves, right? To say, hey, this situation may just not work out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your kid wants to play shortstop or second base, or he's not getting enough at bats here, right? Go here. You know what I'm saying? And he'll get those opportunities, man. So again, that's not the problem. That's not 7-year-old to 15, 16-year-old problems. That's 35 to 60-year-old problems, right? So like those are the parents that are driving those narratives. These kids just want to play ball, right? And be able to compete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the part we gotta, if everybody takes a step back and goes into more focus on these adolescence, right? Then we don't have those issues, right? And I think that's where it starts. I think that's where it starts, and that's what we have to get into more. Again, me and Jamal more than open. You know what I'm saying? With more than open to the idea of teaming up with everybody. Like right now, I talked to Craig at Cochran last week, and we're gonna do a couple of tournaments together.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Ben spoke about the older kids, right? You know what I'm saying? So like I know Ben linked up with the tribe a couple of years ago, but like these things that we're doing when we're coming together, it can always just be out of necessity. You know what I'm saying? And the difficult part about it is I saw a Facebook post like last week, and everybody talking about why we can't just, everybody can't just do it together. And it's not the guy between 7 and 15, right? It's the ones between 35 and 60. You know what I'm saying? That make it difficult because, you got too many people just living through their child, right? So like that's the part that we got to be able to eliminate and understand that it's a small percentage chance that any of these guys are ever going to make it to the MLB, right? But it's a realistic goal if they have the grades that every single one of them can play in somebody's college, right? So when we take the focus back to that and stop worrying about just trying to win a game every Saturday and Sunday and focus on Monday through Friday on a weekly basis. Let's focus on Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, that's for the 35 to 60-year-olds because they don't want to go out there. Oh, my kid did this, he did that.
Right.
Instagram and Facebook posts.
right. You know what I'm saying? So like we just gotta get more focused on the 5 to 7, the people that are actually going out there doing the work. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to add that to it.
Right. Let me just add to that. I just want to piggyback on that. So I do think it's a microwave era. I tell DJ all the time, a lot of people, we like shiny boxes, right? We like people to tell us, hey, you're going to be training with a major league pro. We've got this huge state-of-the-art 10,000 square foot facility. Well, but nobody's developing, right? The development piece is what's missing, right? Anybody, I mean, it's crazy. It blew my mind when I started coaching, where in travel ball, they're taking the top kids at 6 years old. You don't know what a kid's going to be at 6 years old.
Right.
And stacking too. So I would say concentrate on that development piece. I think when kids I do believe in making sure your kid is uncomfortable. He doesn't get too comfortable, but confidence is built when a kid is comfortable, right? That means if he's playing with his friends, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they're building trust. They're building confidence. Now, at some point, he might fly the nest, but you send them when they're ready, right? So, I think we get caught up, and like he said, it's the parents. It's the parents. We deal with them all day, every day. And again, I stand by this quote. You have to do what's in the best interest of your kid. Only you can make that decision. I've been in that situation myself, right? So at the end of the day, we've got to trust the people that we're sending our kids to. We got to trust these people. We got to trust, like I said, the Ben Houses of the world, the pioneers that laid the groundwork. And I would be remiss if I don't also include Rod Dixon. He was over the club. He's done great things with the Dream, putting guys on a national scale. So a lot of great guys out here doing a lot of great things, but it's about checking the ego at the door. And again, these parents, I promise you, a very small percentage of these kids are going pro.
Right.
But if you trust the process and you trust these coaches, I think these kids will be fine. And that's all I got.
Right. Piggybacking on that though, the lessons the kids learning. You're talking about, you want the kid to be comfortable around the people, because baseball is going to make you uncomfortable anyway. You're going to get out. You're going to make errors. You're going to make mistakes. So baseball, the game, makes you uncomfortable. So having the kid in a situation where he can get comfort in his friends who will tell him it's okay and that's going to work out and all that, that does matter a little bit. And you being willing to answer the phone when mom and dad are calling. And Ben tells me all the time, my phone's always on. And he doesn't just tell me that, it's his kids that he tells that to, the parents. You keep that open line up with the parents because you want them to be comfortable with you, because you want their children to be in a comfortable scenario. Let's wrap on that. And Ben, tell people where they can get a hold to you.
My direct number is 678-469-5994. My IG is showcase_baseballga. And my email is showcasebaseball.georgia, spelled out, @gmail.com.
Okay, guys.
Social security number.
What was that?
Social security number.
The last couple digits on your bank account, checkbook, you got that there? No.
That'll be on the
Next episode, and maybe the one after that. Yeah. You guys want to tell us where they can get in touch with y'all?
Yeah.
Beastmode?
Facebook, IG @Beastmode Grinders. That's @Beastmode Grinders on Facebook and IG. Website, BeastmodeYouthSports.com.
Good deal. Good deal. Anybody got anything else?
Nothing else out here. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having us. And wish you the best with this platform. You guys are doing great things, man. Thank you.
No, thank you guys.
Hey, man, enjoyed it, man.
Absolutely. This has been it for the Georgia Florida Baseball Show, brought to you by Ben House and his Georgia Showcase Baseball program. And we want to thank our sponsors one more time. The Dixon Firm. When a cheap lawyer won't do, the Dixon Firm. And Arden's Garden, Atlanta's home for juices, smoothies, and plant-based foods. Thank y'all for sponsoring this so this can happen. Appreciate y'all very much, man. I'd like to talk to y'all again. You guys are great. Thank you very much.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all for having us on.
Awesome.
Thank you.